party. It's been amazing, Mom. Thanks. This is just, it's fun. It's great. We're happy to have everybody together and support us. Honestly, it's really surreal for us to be at this point with this novel. We've been working on it for a very long time. Been talking about it for a very long time. People don't realize that we're being serious because we keep talking about it. But now we produced it. It's true. So I will give the floor over to my brother, Ira, who will do what he does best. First of all, I really do appreciate the fact that everybody is here. And everybody that's here is supposed to be here. And that's what makes it so beautiful. Seriously. As Jason said, as you know, we've been working on this forever. And we literally went from people who didn't know nothing about writing anything to people who, I don't know. I like to think I know how to tell a story now. And there's a lot of growth involved in that process. There's a lot of things that you have to learn and unlearn and so on and so forth to get to that point. As my mom can attest to, my brothers, Jamie, we fought, we cussed each other out. Jason and I have went through a lot writing this story. Literally, we've gone weeks and months without speaking to each other over stupid little details about the book. We've changed the title, we've changed different aspects of it, the cover has changed. So many different things about this thing has grown and changed over the course of about 9 years or so since we started working on this. That I can't even keep track of all the changes that we've made. To kind of give some of you an idea, I wrote this story originally at Dell State in 1998 as a creative essay for English class. And it was basically just to write a short story. And I decided that I was going to write this 4-page story about these reptilians who were going to come to Earth and destroy it for some reason or another. And there were going to be some humans and a half-breed human who was going to stop them from doing so. And that's just the short version of that. But the point is that story was called The Apocalypse. And that was actually the basis of what is now the Armageddon legend. So one day, the worst story I've ever read, by the way. Yeah, the 4-page story, the original version of this is hard. It's terrible. And I hated it as a storyteller. But what's funny is, so one day Jason comes to me and he's like, Ira, this story is actually, the premise is actually kind of interesting. Maybe we can use these characters, maybe we can do something with it to create something really cool. So I'm like, whatever, man, all right, fine. It'll be fun. So we get the characters together, we start mapping out a story, and next thing you know, what was once 4 pages turns into like 200-300 pages. And the next thing you know, what's 200-300 pages is like 600-700 pages. And now we were like, holy shit, we got a book on our hands, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and what was funny about that is we had no idea how to write. I swear, if you saw some of the original manuscripts that we wrote of this story, you would be like, what is this crap? So that Charles wrote it. We literally, so for me personally, and I think I can speak for Jason, back in 2009, we had the pleasure of going to a screenwriting class at Drexel University for literally free. And it was our explanation of the story that got us into this class. The teacher, who was actually a Hollywood screenwriter, said, hey, I'll let you guys sit in my class for the whole semester for nothing. Just don't tell anybody you're here for free. We were like, cool. You know what I mean? Don't tell out. Yeah, he said, if you don't tell, just show up, do your homework like everybody else. Yeah. And we're good. And we did. And not only did we do our homework like everybody else, we got A's. We passed our tests. It was great, and we learned how to tell a story from a movie perspective, really, which kind of translated to the book, and we realized that we had to completely rethink everything. So I was telling a story to somebody earlier today about how we started writing the story in the middle. And for those who don't know, this is actually part 1 of 4. So we started writing this story in where volume 3 is going to start. And it was after this whole epiphany, after learning how to tell a story, learning everything that's involved in writing a book, that we decided, you know what, want to start from this point and actually tell that story because we have a lot. There's a lot of really cool ideas, a lot of really cool things that we can kind of share with our readers. So, nonetheless, that's how Volume 1 became even relevant at all, and Volume 2, which is obviously Part 2. That's how they came to be. So that's pretty much, in a nutshell, the story of how we started this process and how we've got to this point. I mean, in the meantime, in between time, we've worked on other stuff. We've gone back and forth. Life has happened. We both have gone through a world of life changes and things of that nature. One of them you can hear in the background right now. You know what I mean? So, all of it, but you know what? I wouldn't change any of it for anything because all of it has influenced the path we took. It all influenced the direction of the story even.
And the story itself.
And the story itself, yeah. I mean, we literally, up until literally about 3 weeks ago, we've been working on this story. Yeah. So to say that we're finished is very difficult for me to say because I've been saying that for so long. And we never were. And now to say that, I'm pretty confident with it. Obviously the perfectionist in me will read it and I'll go, I think, but I'm good. So with all that being said, that's pretty much how the process went for me and Jason. Unless you want to add anything to that.
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, it's been fun. I think I am surprised of how much time this has taken up in my life, and I wouldn't take any of it back. I think without this book, I don't think me and I would be as close as we are. Even though we're brothers, like I do, like seriously, like me and Ira, like seriously, I mean, me and Ira has literally like gone through it with each other over this book, over this story, like. I don't know.
I mean, Jamie has cussed me out because I've woken up sovereign because I'm on the phone at 2 in the morning arguing with Jason, yelling about this story. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's deep. Yeah.
Or he's still at my house up 6 o'clock in the morning still talking about this story.
I mean, my doctor told me I need to cut back on the coffee. I told him when I'm done my books. It's real like that, man.
Yeah. And people don't, and people also, it's nice to do this project because you sit back and you hear another person might say to you, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. And you've never been a part of that. You've never tried to do that same thing. So you don't really understand what that means when they say that to you. I tell people so many things and I tell people what I'm doing or whatever. And they're just like, oh, wow, cool. Like, I never knew someone who's wrote a book. There's billions of books in the world. But every time I talk to somebody, I've never met someone who's wrote a book before. And it's just like, it's really nice. It's refreshing. And to write a science fiction novel, which is like one of the hardest genres in the business to get into, it's a great feeling of accomplishment, I think. So I'm proud of our products.
And we are
We're proud of you.
So then when it came to the Armageddon lecture, right? Okay, so what is this story? What is it about? Why? You know what I mean? Me and Jason, for those of you who don't really know us at the core, we're really insane people. And I like villains. I like the bad guy. I like when the bad guy wins. I like the idea of the bad guy winning.
I'm going to say this, and I'm his mom. He will tell you 1,000,000 ways how to kill somebody. You'll never know that you can do it. And you'll never know it. They know that. Like, where you grow up at?
So you're thinking about.
So here's where it gets interesting. So specifically, when it came to like an alien invasion story, when you think about aliens, you think about sci-fi. Most people think about Star Trek and Star Wars and all of that stuff, which is all great. Don't get me wrong, I love that stuff. It's great. But the one thing that interests me is, okay, you got these stories and these aliens are coming, but you never really get the story from the alien perspective. You never really understand why these aliens have decided to invade Earth and why Earth and for what. You don't get that. All you get is the human perspective. All you get is these humans trying to figure out how to survive this. You don't actually get why it's happening in the first place. And that's where our story comes in. That's the difference between our story and every other story you might have read or heard about or movie you might have seen as it pertains to an alien invasion or aliens at all. It's that this story is almost 100% from that alien perspective or the villain perspective versus the human perspective. And that's where the biggest challenge in telling the story came, and where me and Jason as storytellers had to really learn and understand, how we can convey that message. Because the average person reading this book isn't going to get that right away. Or you just might not get it because people are programmed that, you got a good guy and a bad guy, and the good guy wins at the end no matter what. You know what I'm saying? But that's not necessarily the case in our storytelling. So that's a direction that we wanted to go. We wanted to give you the insight from that perspective. And I felt like that was a more interesting perspective to take because you don't really get that perspective. So that all being said, that is, in a nutshell, to say again, the direction of the story, why we wrote the story to begin with, and what we went through writing. So for those who don't know, I'm going to actually read from the back of the older version of the book that some of you may have purchased, and if you did, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
But we did, of course, revise it since then, and on the back of this book has a really cool kind of not the quote, but the synopsis, so to speak, that really does kind of speak to the story. And then I'm going to read this just to kind of give you the insight, and then Jason's going to go into chapter 1 excerpt. So this is, in a nutshell, motivated only by the birth of his son, Murderer, King Venomous rallied what was left of his army to save their pestilence-ravaged planet of Melanon from extinction. The reptilian race of Judgment Deliverer's last stand for survival was to interbreed with the species of the Empire of Earth called humans. The prize of human captains was Tanara, who served as Murderer's personal slave. Over the years, Murderer and Tanara built a secret companionship. However, as his ordination into sovereignty approached, the revelation of their true purpose all but destroyed them. Murderer's companionship with Tanara amplified even against his father's will, and as a result, humanity was never the same. Melanon's social climate was forever changed, and what King Murderer and Tanara were destined to become was more than anyone could have ever imagined. So from that, what's beautiful about this story, too, is that, okay, it's sci-fi at its core, but we like to throw a little bit of everything at you, because I'm the kind of person that likes, I like a love story, which is the number one thing we fought over, I think, about this movie.
We fought hard.
You get a bit of a love story, you get a bit, there's some funny parts, it's kind of funny here and there, believe it or not, but it's a very serious story overall. So you get a little bit of everything, and I think from that you kind of get a small smidgen of what this specific book, Volume 1, The Apocalyptic Genesis, is about. So with that being said, Chapter 1. Jason.
Thank you. Bear with me. The carefree people of the Empire of Earth were never happier. That day marked 1,000 years since all obstructions that once divided mankind were torn down and their prosperous governmental systems was born. 1,000 years of social equality, religious unification, and above all, peace was more than enough to commemorate a global holiday. And on that very day, however, another joyous occasion brought together the Empire of Earth's citizens. In collective harmony, thousands convoluted about the perimeter of the Imperial Palace. Holding their breath, the entire world anticipated the birth of Emperor Sanctus Pedrios and his laboring wife's Empress Leone's first baby. Emperor Sanctus held the love of his life's hand tight as he sat beside her. He felt her pain through the intensity of her clammy grip. Yet, with his other hand between his thumb and pointer finger, he rubbed impatiently the crucifix upon his necklace she gave him. While Empress Leone whimpered agonizing. Oh, the anxious emperor prayed in silence. That was until Dr. Novich came barging in the grand medical ward again. Okay, Empress, how are we doing? Dr. Novich asked, seeming more excited than the parents to be. I am doing fine, Doctor, replied Empress Leonie as she withstood the overbearing contractions. Well, just relax and breathe. It'll all be over soon. I still can't believe you want to give birth naturally, the Emperor said while wiping his wife's forehead dry with a cloth. No offense, Your Highness, chimed in Dr. Novich, but if you haven't figured it out by now, your wife is really stubborn. Who are you telling? He chuckled. Excuse my ignorance, Dr. Novich, but is it safe? I mean, it's been a long time since a woman gave natural birth, you know? Oh, don't worry, Dr. Novich reassured him. If anything, she's going to be rather uncomfortable for a while. But she's strong, but she's a strong one, Your Highness. I'll be okay, Empress Leonie shouted. Are you still sure you don't want an epidural? Asked Dr. Novich. Yes, I'm sure. I heard that sometimes that could be worse than this. Not Harley, but suit yourself. Emperor Sanctus and the doctor shared a laugh. The signal of the telecommunicator beeped, projecting the image of his best friend, smiling from ear to ear, the telecommunicator voiced, Emperor Sanctus, Julius Spencia of Kowloon wishes to connect, confirm or deny. Confirm, of course, said the Emperor, and at the last second he thought aloud, however, connected to my sanctuary. Connection confirmed. That's so weird that something just big like that now. I'm just saying. Sorry. Right. Okay. Are you really going to leave me now? Cried Empress Leonie. It's only Julius. Whatever he was, I'm sure it'll only take a minute. You always say that, and I don't see you for hours. Oh, Leonie, stop being silly. He kissed her mahogany brow. Ew. Empress Sanctus immediately spat into a cloth, then wiped his lips as if he'd been contaminated if he didn't wipe from that fast enough. Oh my God. Here. Too much.
Alright, sorry. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Sorry about that. Alright. Oh, Leonie, stop being silly. He kissed her mahogany brow. Ooh. Emperor Sanctus immediately spat into the cloth and wiped his lips as if he'd be contaminated if he didn't wipe them fast enough. What's the matter? Empress Leonie asked further. You're all sweaty, he laughed. And again, Dr. Novich joined him. Sorry. Even in her agonizing state, Empress Leonie playfully poked her husband in the gut. You're the one who's silly. Now hurry back. Completely ignoring his imperial guardsmen, Emperor Sanctus dashed through the secluded ivory hallway to his sanctuary. Ah, good morning, Julius. How's everything in Kowloon? Everything is great, said Julius. Celebrations are taking place all over. I can't wait to see what's going on in the other 8 districts. Which reminds me, I spoke to Monthorlio Jean earlier today, and he planned a big festival there in Eden. I know. He must have told everyone to come here straight to the Imperial Palace. You should see how many people are gathered outside. That's because they're waiting for the fireworks, idiot. Sometimes I wonder how you became emperor. If I were emperor, you wouldn't be Kowloon's overseer. And they laughed together. It never gets old, Sanctus, asked Julius, still chuckling a bit. Emperor Sanctus wasn't fully collected yet. Managed to get out. Nope, not at all. Hell, we've been going at each other since we were kids, which is, however, the real reason why I'm calling. Oh? Congratulations, my friend. Julius couldn't say it with a straight face. The Empire of Earth will surely prosper with more of you running around. Well, thank you, Julius, but Leonie hasn't given birth yet. What? You called me hours ago crying that her water broke. I know, but the baby just doesn't want to come out. Well, have patience. The baby can't stay in there forever. Why not? To tell you the truth, Julius, I don't think I'm ready. Oh, quit your belly aching, Sanctus. You'll be fine, and before you know it, you and Leonie will have 2 or 3 more rugrats tearing up the place. Maybe you guys will finally catch up to me in death. I swear, all you two do is make babies. I don't know how you fit overseeing Kowloon into your busy schedule. It's hard, but I make it work. Hey, did you at least come up with the name yet? Asked Julius. Believe it or not, we have, but this is just between us. If we have a girl, we'll name her Tenora. After your grandmother? Julius said sarcastically. Leonie must have thought that one up. But what if it's a boy? Well, Julius, if it's a boy, we'll surely name him after you, my friend. Wow, I'm flattered. That's not all. We've also decided to have the baby baptized here in the palace as soon as Leonie's back on her feet. And we want you to be the godfather. Well, now, I'm definitely flattered. Thank you, Sanctus. I promise I'll love that child as if she were my own. Well, I know you will. Suddenly, Dr. Novich popped up on screen with urgency. Sorry. Suddenly, Dr. Novich popped up on screen with urgent. Huh? No, sorry. Suddenly, Dr. Novich popped up on screen with urgent flashing beneath his image. Emperor Sanctus. Yes, doctor. Your wife is about to have a baby, he said with a bit of attitude. You want to hurry back? Right. Emperor Sanctus rushed back to the Grand Medical Ward without saying goodbye to his best friend. He ignored the Imperial Guardsman stationed in the hall as he ran to Leonie's side. Vociferously, she screamed as the sharp pains of childbirth pierced throughout her fatigued body. The more she pushed, the tighter her grip of Emperor Sanctus' hand became. He made every effort to pry it free, but it was impossible. Come on, Empress, push, push, the doctor instructed the screaming life-bearer. I am pushing. Emperor Sanctus' eyes lit up with excitement. I see the head. Keep going, you're almost there. His knuckles were nearly crushed as Empress Leonie used him and the gurney's railing to gain leverage. She pushed with all of her strength that time, he could tell, because his knuckle popped. But it was worth it, though, because he could see the baby's shoulders. That's it, Emperor Sanctus motivated his wife. Keep pushing. Shut up! Empress Leonie shouted. Oh, this is all your fault, Sanctus! The Emperor pretended to disregard her painful berating as the baby was nearly completely out. Here it comes! It's a girl! Dr. Novich happily revealed to the diplomatic couple. Nurses cleaned, weighed, and checked the vitals of the baby girl with haste. Dr. Novich handed the medical scissors to the Emperor. What are these for? Asked the confused new father. Well, you have to cut the umbilical cord, Your Highness. Oh, right, I knew that. With everyone's eyes peeled, Emperor Sanctus' nervousness got the best of him. Where did you get these dull things? Asked the Emperor as the blades kept sliding off the umbilical cord with every squeeze of the scissors. For heaven's sake, Doctor, you couldn't even cut through paper. It's not the scissors, Your Highness. Maybe it's the person controlling the scissors. As his nervousness grew, so did his lack of patience. Emperor Sanctus hacked at the umbilical cord like a madman. Doc, this is impossible. No, it's not. Just calm down. It's too slimy. No, it's not. Just calm down. You're not the first person in the world who has cut an umbilical cord, you know. It's been done billions of times. Seriously, Doc, it's like trying to cut a rubber hose with a set of spoons over here. It's so flat. Slightly laughing, Dr. Novich placed his hand over the scissors. Emperor, you're too anxious. Calm down and cut. Emperor Sanctus took a deep breath. He cut the umbilical cord easily. You see, Doc, I told you I would get it. You just needed to calm down. It brought tears to his eyes to see his perfectly healthy daughter clutched in the arms of her enraptured mother. Emperor Sanctus kissed his wife's sweaty forehead as they successfully became a happy family of three. Before he and the physically fatigued life-bearer could rejoice at the birth of their daughter, thunderous echoes in the distance stole his attention. What's that? Emperor Sanctus asked. The fireworks couldn't have begun already. We haven't announced our baby yet. He ran to the window, and what he saw, he didn't want to believe. What the? Your Highness, what is it? Asked Dr. Novich, as if he realized whatever the Emperor saw outside mustn't have been good. I don't know, Doctor. I don't know, Doctor. It looks like a meteor shower. My God. Fiery shadows in the shape of giant crucifixes kindled the horizon. Those aren't meteors. Fret to the core. Empress Leonie protectively squeezed tight their baby girl as she cried. Then what are they? Colossal symbols of their devotion tore apart the very skies they scattered. It all happened so fast. Emperor Sanctus didn't have a chance to understand the half of it, nor did anyone else. Nevertheless, whomever their creator, he prayed that it wasn't God. But those otherworldly mechanical beasts came from the sky and the water, it seemed, just as the beasts he read about. And it was proven to him, as they let loose upon the empire of earth, the hell they brought with them. The symbol of God, it opened underneath, and from it fell something that no human had ever seen. Emperor Satis couldn't tell where the something landed. Instead, what he saw was the explosion of the residential district where he grew up, where his parents lived. And that was only where the cataclysm that defined that day began. Pandemonium struck. People scampered to escape the burning debris of their collapsing homes. Mobilized from the symbols of God, some armed with rustic swords, and others not armed at all, reptilians spread deep into the heart of the chaotic outbreak, preyed upon their defenselessness. Frantic, Emperor Satis could only pray for strength in his.